Hey guys, this is Shapeshifting Tree. I know this is kind of a weird place to start the video. I was just kind of trying to run around a little bit, okay? I'm going to be going over the ancient waterway, which is through that cave, through that door. I didn't upload this one because it takes a while to get through here. It's a lot to do on top of everything else. So, now, this is the first floor. It's fairly simple. There's 3 chests. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing a few fights here since... How many cottages did I have? Do I have left? That should be enough. Here's why. Because... Remember how you know how we're heading to Balance Castle? Because that's what we're doing, by the way. Into Balance Castle, right? Well, in turn, the enemies in here aren't too dangerous. I mean, there's some tough enemies, but most of them weak to thunder. And the Geiger Skaters, which is all they're weak to ice. It's the Guardsmen and Electrofish, which are immune to nothing. You want to be careful of those ones. But everything else is weak to thunder, and those Gators are weak to ice. Ignoring those 2 exceptions I mentioned. Now, this one is pretty simple. There's 3 items in this floor. Ether. And Zeus's Wrath. That's pretty much all you're going to find here. The rest of this place... at least, that's all you're gonna find on this floor. Okay. Now all these enemies I believe are weak to thunder. Yep. The ones at the back are a little tougher, but they should fall pretty quickly. This area is not going to be too harsh on you. Don't worry. Killing these enemies and taking out most of them shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, you know, see, Cecil is really tough. He's gonna be your powerhouse for the rest of this game after this point. He's pretty much your powerhouse. He's gonna be probably the most powerful physical guide you're gonna have. When it comes to physicals, he's gonna be the strongest. That is no doubt. These things, you want to be careful of those. In order to cook these, in this circumstance, in order to quickly clear out the enemy, fire. None of these enemies resist it. As you can see though, Teller doesn't do a whole bunch with his attacks when it comes to being on multiple targets. You start to see Teller's usefulness starts to weigh it down around here. He doesn't get that much stronger, and just Palom is better at what he does. I mentioned Teller has to do both healing and that, leaving him a little bit too in demand for a lot of magical duty. It becomes his biggest weakness in these fights. And I mean his biggest. Now, this is the first ancient 4. There is a few items lying around in this area. However, I'm taking the quick route here. Only because this is kind of a this can be a longest dungeon, so I'm going to try to cover it fairly quickly. Okay? You can get, what is it? You can get, Hermes sandals, bronze hourglass spice, there's silk. They're all okay, but they're not generally you don't need status affecting items. They're not my... If you want them, collect them. They're not my thing. I don't use status affecting items. I do use status effects in this game. There's probably a game which has a few status effects which are actually decent. Just not the items for them. I don't bother with that. It's really not worth the time and effort. If you want them though, go ahead. Personally, I think that's not worth time and effort. They're not the best items out there. Honestly, just everyone just attack at this point. I honestly don't care. But like I said, these items are not that useful. Okay. Now, the thing is, I prefer surprise to back attack. Because, well, I'm still not really in any real problem. Now, no, Cecil is taking a bit of damage here, but that's fine. I'm gonna heal up here. Now, be warned, not much. This episode's probably gonna cover the first boss of Bound Castle, probably. But not the second. The second is a little bit more nasty than the first. I'm not saying the first isn't nasty, the first is nasty. And it will be one of those things that you will see a little bit of later, and it's a warning to pay attention because you will see some of these in the future. Bosses that do very similar things, and I will tell you which ones those are. Well, I will show you them when they turn up. But, oh, God. Why like this? This enemy is probably one of your most hated enemies. You don't want to face this if you're at all possible. If you face it, just go to kill. I mean, go to kill. Remember how you had that sandworm? Alright? This is the floodworm. It is the evil spawn cousin of that creature. Kill it with extreme prejudice. This thing can be nasty if you let it get its hands all over you. Finish it quickly. It'll give you quite a bit of experience. 7,000 over. Split among your party, of course, but it's a nasty beast. Kill it with extreme prejudice, or else you will have a really bad time. And no, I did not do that to Weapons Undertale. But yeah, but you get the idea. You'll have a really bad time. Now, you go this way. Now this is the save area for this thing. Now, I will not use a cottage here. And you get an ancient sword. Now, personally, I don't know why this thing even exists. It's weaker than your Might-Given Blade, and nobody else can equip it. And by the time anyone else that turns up that can, it's way... I don't know why this weapon exists. I mean, break is nice, I must admit, but it just... It doesn't... Break is not really a status effect that works on bosses. Yeah, I know I haven't saved in that slot since Bound Ordeals. Sorry. But seriously. Now, I'm not going to rest up here. Because there's a... You can use Cecil's Tower, remember from the first area where you slept? Yeah, well, you can use that to sleep in. So, there's no real need I'm just taking the time, making sure this doesn't go over too much over. Because this boss fight could take a while, so... Doesn't matter. I mean, keeping your health up is important, but keeping your other stats up, not so much. Kick. Swap woes. Cry. And, use thunder, I guess. I don't want to cast you know, I mean, probably I could just go all out here, but I'm not. That's just me. I could. I'm just not. I mean, against effective enemies, Ted is very useful, like exploiting weaknesses. But his default abilities are not very good. Cecil gains some decent stats. Yes, Cecil becomes quite powerful. Let's compare his status. Okay, that's him. And that's Yang. I mean, Yang's doing slightly better, but you gotta remember, Cecil has more health, and he's also able to equip heavier armor and weapons. So he gets more out of his stats than Yang does. Now, before you face his next boss, you want to equip him with these ice claws. And there is a reason for that, and because the next boss is weak to that element. Yes, the next, heck, not just this one, but the other one, they're both weak to ice. At least, well, the second one is weak to ice, normally. You're gonna figure out more about what that boss can do. He has a nasty little trick up his sleeve. Be warned. Though, both these bosses are tough. This next one shouldn't be a problem. Or at least shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just remember, rest up here. Don't bother resting up down there, because you're wasting time and resources. I mean, if you have tons of cottages, but I only have 2, and I'm not going to risk it here. So, now, everyone's stats should be fine. You're gonna see one of the biggest this is gonna be probably include the first boss fight, but not the second. The next one requires a lot of thinking about, because it is a really tough fight. I can do it, just so you know. It's just not easy, and it's probably one of the toughest fights that you would have faced up to this point, and quite possibly one of the toughest fights in this game as a contender, in terms of what you face it with. Because you're still dealing with some obvious... Because it's introducing... Let's just say they introduce some new interesting things. Oh, it's Cecil. Alive. Him. Golbez. exact few things have gone over. See. Odd. Yeah, this is your boss fight. Beware, those arms are different creatures. That's important. Maybe you won't know this, but just a little advice if you're flying along. Those arms will explode. Also, by the way, he's weak to ice. And I mean all of him. Don't cast any magic, except for this. Where is it? Does he have it? Yes. And here's why. Because he will immediately, by the way, cast Reflect on himself. Now what you want to do is essentially kill all the parts of him within turns of each other. And here's why. Because if he gets a chance, he will pretty much kill everybody. The thing is, his arms, if you don't kill him within a certain amount of time, will just explode. Now, attack his middle bit. Now I'm gonna try to sort of... I don't know how much damage Yang can do with a kick after free foci with an advantage. So I'm gonna hit him to about... a decent amount. I'm gonna hit his body hard. Attack. You can focus up to 3 times. Now, I'm gonna risk it and go for the kick after this. I don't know if it'll kill all of him. If it doesn't, we're in trouble. Oh. Yeah. Mini. Not too bad on Tether. Tether's not gonna really be too badly affected by Mini. But be warned. You want to essentially kill all of them within seconds of one another. Because if he stays too long with them dead, he will bring them back. Be warned. Now, Sizzle gains a level, Yang gains a level, Taylor gains a level. Now, what I'm gonna do is, okay, first I'm gonna go and heal up at the tower, and then I'm gonna head back to the save point. You want to save before facing the next one. I think I will call it this, because the next one will take some time. I may have to grind up beforehand. I will do one, I will try to best him. However, if something goes wrong, I will save. Oh, by the way, I may do the after years as well, because I have that, but I'm not sure. I'll think about it. Also, if you could tell me how to get a good walkthrough book that is not too complicated to follow and isn't just text line after text line. Like, this book, that's not too small. I don't like having to read through the small writing of those, a lot of them. It's one of my biggest points I have, personal peeves. So I'm gonna end the video at the save point, and then I will meet you back at Baron Castle. Oh, God. Why one of these guys? Alright, I'll probably have to heal up before meeting you back with the killing of, But this thing ain't poot. It's just I probably will have to heal before the next fight. But it should be fine. By the way, I'm not getting the double up only because, I'm not gonna bother changing back. This Kanaso is also... Oh, well, yeah, that's the name of the next boss. I kinda spoiled it there. Sorry. But that's the name of the next boss. You're gonna figure out who he is later. If any of you know, don't spoil it. I already spoiled his name. Don't spoil what he actually is, please. You'll all find, you who know, don't spoil it. And you who don't, will find out who that guy is. I didn't even tell you his name, but now I have. Okay. Well, Shape63 signing out. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry it went a little long, but I just had to go over that fight and go over what's going to happen. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.